Alright folks, and welcome back to the Don's channel. I am the Donfather, and I'm now going to be reacting to the reason why you have a Coleman medal in the AFL. This video I'm reacting to is entitled Goal Kicking Legend John Coleman Rare Footage Found VFL Semi-Final 1953. Of course, the Coleman medal goes to the highest kicker of the AFL season, which last year was Cameron. Absolutely outstanding he was last year, so congratulations to him. Look, this guy is somebody who I'm not massively familiar with in terms of how many goals he scored, but I know the stature of the man. We all know about him, we've all heard about him, but I'm looking forward to this, and the reason being it's really rare footage. It's something I've just came across. I actually don't know who he played for or anything, so this should hopefully be quite educational to me and to everybody else who, if you don't do your history of the game, you just like the modern day, you might appreciate it. I really do enjoy the old footage. I really do enjoy learning about the history of the game, how it started, how it's grew over the years, how the money has kind of changed the game of the last 10, 15 years or so, maybe 20 years. But just looking at the old fields, how they were dug up like potato fields, the old footies, how they maybe weren't as good quality, maybe a little bit heavier when they got wet, the old kit that they wore, but ultimately how tough they played the game, how physical it was. Obviously it's still a very, very physical sport, but there's no denying the game of yesteryear. There was things that you could get away with then that you can't get away with now, and the biff. They loved the biff, didn't they? Let's be honest here. They really, really enjoyed the biff. So anyway, no more talking about it. This is goal kicking legend John Coleman. Let's go! Footscray wins first semi-final. Doesn't seem to be any volume with the footage. Running through like old streamer type banners there. So it's Essendon anyway. The Bombers. Look at them go. The old shorts, even the old running, the way they ran just seems to be even slightly different. It seems like the video's been sped up here. Oh, it's off the post. Oh, it was a lovely snapshot over the shoulder. Came off the post. Look at the ground as well, the old roof with a clock on it. Not too sure what ground this is they're playing at. He's took the mark before he's went out there. Everybody in shirt and tie as well, very respectful indeed. I must say, I do like the old long sleeve Guernseys or jumpers or whatever they called them back in the day. Really do enjoy looking at them, they're nice. For the old footage, we're seeing John Coleman, we're not seeing many goals being scored. I'm hoping that will change soon, you'll start to see some goals getting kicked. One thing I am noticing, and I have been quite critical of the modern era, but technically the modern era is actually looking a hell of a lot better than this footage. Look at the kicks out. I think the kicks are quite poor, to be honest out. It's the same guy every time. The kicking's been bad there. And in actual fact, even the footage of when they're taking marks, it's not as convincing as the modern era either, which is very, very strange in this video. I'm not sure why they're showing some of the stuff they're showing. There doesn't seem to be a great deal of John Coleman highlights in terms of him being a great kicker for goal, great goal scoring kicker. I'm enjoying it in its own right as well, because I do enjoy the history of the sport. But the footage, we're not getting great quality footage. Good tackle there. When there's no commentary, it makes it really hard to know who the hell John Coleman is. For me as well, being somebody that's maybe not too sure about him. Nice turn there. Nice handball. Good bit of team play for that goal. Quite frantic at times as well, isn't it? So there's quite a lot of times where it's like a bit of a fucking hot potato, the footy. Everybody going at it. Of course, there's the old fence that you get in the footy grounds, the cricket grounds. I'm not too sure if this was the MCG or where this has been played, so help me out with that. Oh, look, that was an absolute mongrel he's just kicked there. In terms of kicking it from the back, they're definitely not good. I'd imagine the best kickers were forwards back in the day. And they just had the fucking grubs at the back. The old hard-hitting defenders, not known for their kicking, just for their physicality. That's what I'm getting the impression of here. Look at that. Lovely burst of pace. The end. Very posh, like you were in an old theatre at the end. The end. See, to be honest, I'm going to be quite critical of this. Not so much John Coleman, because obviously he was a legend. But the video suggests goal-kicking legend Joe Coleman, rare footage found, VFL semi-final 1953. Now, I'm going to be quite critical of the video. Who did John Coleman play for? For somebody like me, was he playing for the Bulldogs there, or was he playing for Essendon? There wasn't a lot of build-up there. Obviously, the lack of commentary in the video is fair enough, I can accept that. But if you wanted to know who John Coleman was, of course he's famous for being a great goal kicker. There wasn't a lot of footage there of him scoring goals, so it's very difficult to know who he was, how many he scored in that game, who he was playing for, or anything from that video. But now, not being critical of the video, really good to see old footage. I do enjoy watching it. It's basically, obviously 1953 isn't the origins of the sport. We're a good nearly 100 years into the game of Aussie rules at this stage. I think it was 1858 it started, so we're nearly 100 years. You do the maths, 95 years roughly the sport had been going. But in terms of footage, yes, certainly rare footage indeed. What I did like was the old kits, obviously the long sleeve jumper. I wouldn't be opposed to seeing that back. I think it's really, really nice looking, particularly Essendon. I think it's really hard to find a bad looking Essendon jumper anyway. And the doggies, I do like the red and blue Guernseys and jumpers that they have, so really nice kit. It was good to see the old stand, see the crowd as well, what they were wearing to the footy. Definitely a different planet now to what we're seeing in the games now, what people wear. They're all dressed respectfully, shirt and tie, women with hats on. The old fence is still there today, which is great. If anybody can tell me what ground that was played at, that would be fantastic, because I really have no idea. Was that the old MCG? I very much doubt it, because the old MCG could have held well over 100,000 people, so I'm thinking it's just another ground within Melbourne itself. So let me know there. I did like some of the intensity of the players in the game. I found it quite frantic at times. There was moments where the footy was like a hot potato, which it is still like that at times now. You can't predict the bounce of the footy at times, and everybody chasing after it. The speed of them was frightening at times, really, really quick. I actually thought, was it being sped up in the video they were going that quick? The goal kicking from some of the the kicking from the back from some of the defenders, wow, they didn't have kicks on mongrels back then, did they? Particularly the Essendon players, really poor kicking from the back. Mongrels getting kicked everywhere, shanking it across the ground at times, really, really poor from the back. But in terms of overall footy play, it didn't seem too bad. I was expecting a lot of biffing that. I was expecting quite a lot of really hard hitting physical tackles. And actually what we saw in that video was quite the opposite. It was very reserved, very sort of standoffish, which is not like what I would be used to seeing when I'm covering footage from the 70s, 80s, 90s, even the current game today that we're seeing. Now 2020 year hasn't started yet, but we're into now 2020, and I guarantee you'll see bigger hits in the modern game than what you were seeing in that video. That's not to say that it wasn't happening, because I'm quite sure back in the 50s there was some really, really hard bastards playing the game. But the players that I've watched in terms of enforcers certainly came from the 70s, 80s, 90s, that era where they were really, really tough. But what you're seeing here is very rare footage. What you were seeing 70s, 80s and present day is a lot more footage, a lot more clips to review, a lot more clips to analyse, etc. So it might not be a fair reflection of the time. That short video, I enjoyed it for everything other than the John Coleman kicking, because of the old footage. Taking everything into consideration about the game and how it's developed, and I think it's developed for the positives actually. The modern game is fantastic. Technically, in certain aspects, the players are better. I think goal kicking in the 70s, 80s, 90s was far better than what it is today. But certainly in terms of how the overall game is being played, I think the modern era is quite hard to beat. If you look at the Tigers, the way their handballing game's played, it's absolutely frightening. It's effective. They can get from back to front in a matter of seconds and not have to kick it, purely with the use of a deliberate handball and everybody working hard off the footy to make space for each other. Nice triangular passes, ultimate football, sexy footy as I call it, and I do believe that every team as a whole are playing some really, really nice stuff. So footy is in a very, very healthy place in the modern era. It certainly looks better than the 1953 footage. Bearing in mind that was a VFL semi-final, so you'd be expecting two of the top 4 teams in the VFL to be playing really, really nice stuff. And that footage suggested that it wasn't just as technically good as what we're seeing now, but certainly not as technically good in terms of the way they kicked the footy back 70s, 80s, 90s. John Coleman, certainly a legend, but Plugger Lockett obviously took that to the next level, and everybody thereafter has Plugger Lockett as a target to aim for. You have to be kicking 100 goals plus a season consistently to be considered up there with your Dunstals, your Plugger Locketts, your well, look, there's midfielders that were sensational at kicking as well. Gary Ablett Sr., Gary Ablett Jr., so many players absolutely sensational in the modern era as well, for the way they kick and execute their technique of the ball, of striking the ball. I'm going on a bit here anyway. I did enjoy the footage. I've got critique of the video itself, critique of certain types of technical skills that they had back in the day that I'm not used to seeing now, because they're just not there. They're definitely a more polished player now. But certainly enjoyed it for the rare footage that we got, the old footage of the people in the crowd, the stadiums, the fucking kit that they wore. I wish it had commentary though. That would have really helped me gauge what was happening, who had the ball, player names, etc. But overall, I enjoyed the video. I hope you did as well. This is what this channel is all about. It's bringing you modern footage, sort of 70s, 80s footage, and also the history of the game from its humble beginnings, and I'll continuously do that as the channel progresses and grows. So thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the Don's channel and the Don of World Sports, which is doing AFL footage as well, AFL videos, sorry I should say, as well, so do check that out. Our social media platforms, the original video, all of this stuff's going to be in the description section below, and I've got a new AFL, Donfather's AFL page on Facebook. Do join that, where you're more than welcome to post as much AFL stuff as possible, no matter what it is, Aussie rules related. Get it put on there, and all light-hearted, good fun. That's what it's all about. Thanks very much everyone for watching. I am the Donfather. Peace and goodbye. And I hope, actually, before I go, that you have a great 2020 and your team does well, whoever they are. I'm going for the Bulldogs. I'm expecting a top 8 finish for them and finals footy. Thanks again. See you all soon.